Fake news has come to Idaho from Tommy Ahlquist and from his father's PAC. Idaho deserves better from people seeking higher office. He also continues to attack my voting record. Over my career, I have voted in almost 95% of all instances required of me in Congress. But when I first ran for Congress, I still had a young family. And I was asked how I would balance my job as a father and my job as a congressman. I was straight with the people of Idaho and told them that I would miss some votes when my family needed to be the priority. The reality is that I have not been able to attend the majority of my children's activities and school events, but I have tried to be there for the most important ones. I will never apologize for missing 5% of the votes for my family and for my kids. But what is most shameful is that Tommy and his campaign know that the number of votes that I have missed this term went up because my youngest son had a heart condition, and he had a heart procedure that ended up with complications that landed him in the pediatric ICU. I missed nearly 2 weeks of votes because of this. Shame on you, Tommy. You should know better as a doctor. And shame on you and your campaign for continuing to bring this up during this campaign. Tommy and his father's PAC are also lying when they claim that I waste taxpayer money. In the last 8 years, I have been under budget in my office expenses by over $800,000. And that luxury SUV that Tommy and his friends keep talking about, that was a 2015 Ford Explorer that my office leased for congressional work in the district. Finally, the taxpayer-funded trip that Tommy and his dad's PAC keep talking about was a congressional delegation trip to North Africa and the Middle East. We went there to ascertain the safety of U.S. embassies and personnel in the aftermath of the attacks in the embassy in Benghazi and the murder of a U.S. ambassador. While you were hobnobbing with Democrats here in Idaho, I was doing my job in Washington, D.C. to protect the people of the United States and the people of Idaho. The most shameful part of this whole event is that his father's PAC claims that I have not sponsored any legislation that has become law. This is a complete and utter lie. There are over 20 bills that I have sponsored or co-sponsored that have become law. However, it is really not the number of bills that is important. It is the people who have been affected who matter the most to me. So today, I've invited some of Idaho citizens who have been most directly affected by the work that I have done in Congress to speak to you. They want to share their stories. They asked me to share their stories because they want to clear the air about the lies that Tommy and his friends and his dad's PAC are telling and spreading the people of Idaho. You will first hear from Heidi Hill from Eagle, the mother of Shauna Hill. Then you will hear from Chet Brackett, a rancher from Owyhee County. Next, you will hear from my friend Sheriff Doug Giddings from Idaho County. And finally, we'll be pleased to hear from Idaho County Commissioner Skip Brandt, who was a Trump delegate to the Republican National Convention. Heidi.
Good morning. My name is Heidi Hill, and our oldest daughter, Shauna, was in an accident 5 years ago, 2012, and unfortunately died from her injuries. And after her death, we learned that we could not transfer a VA benefit that had been transferred to Shauna back to our older daughter. And after that realization, we contacted Congressman Labrador to help our family to resolve this issue. His office and himself worked tirelessly for 5 years to write this piece of legislation, and it was signed into law last fall by President Trump. It is called the Shauna Hill Post 9/11 Education Transferability Act, and we are very proud of that as a family. It's an honor to have our daughter's legacy and one that will bless the lives of veterans and families for years to come. Our family wants everyone to know that Congressman Labrador is a hardworking man and a good man, and we appreciate everything he has done for our family. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me be here today. My name is Chet Brackett. My family we're a public lands ranch. We've been ranching in the state of Idaho since the 1880s. We've done a good job over the years, I feel. One of the measures of how good we have done is we've had antelope, elk, and bighorn sheep introduced and put on the range that we operate on. And we provide water and good forage and minerals for these animals. And again, we take care of our cattle, but we also take care of the public lands. There's some of these things that we have to work through, and we have to take care of our livestock. But working through the grazing permits that the BLM that we operate under has been very difficult at times. I have been over 20 years working on renewing a grazing permit. I've had annual authorizations, but I'm supposed to have an annual 10-year permit, and the BLM has been unable to do this. And Congressman Labrador helped us. He supported the Range Improvement Act, which was supported by most all of the cattlemen, I'm sure. The Public Lands Council, they helped write it, and it cuts through some of the red tape that we have to deal with without sacrificing any of the good controls that we need, but it just cuts through some of the red tape, and we certainly support Congressman Labrador and his efforts on our behalf. This enables us to have a certainty of permit that we did not have for several years, and it just helps us as we hire employees, work with our banks for lending for the borrow money we have, and it just helps maintain the rural lifestyle that we have got, that we provide open space for the people of the state of Idaho. And I got this to say, shame on Tommy for lying about Congressman Labrador's record. Rel's work for ranchers has made a big difference for us and makes life a lot easier and more certain for us as we go on. And anyone who's going to lie and distort others' records like Tommy has, he's not fit to be governor of the state of Idaho. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Doug Giddings, Sheriff of Idaho County. For years, Idaho County, we didn't really have a gun range that we could use without leasing or renting or using another company's gun range, which there aren't very many. But the BLM, that's Bureau of Land Management, owns some property in our county, and we were interested in trying to work a little deal with the land exchange. In 2012, we approached Congressman Labrador's office in regards to this possibility. His office went to work, and in 2014, we passed the Idaho County Land Conveyance Bill, which transferred a certain number of acres to the county, and they were successful in doing that, and we now have a nice gun range. Now, the residents of Idaho County can use it, and the sheriff's office now has one that we can exclusively use. Say, that might not mean much to Tommy Ahlquist or his friends, but it means a lot to the residents of Idaho County. I just wish the politicians would tell the truth and quit pointing fingers at what other people are or aren't doing and just cover their own base. Thank you.
I'm Skip Brandt, Idaho County Commissioner, and one of the earliest supporters of Donald Trump. I am very frustrated today to have to stand here and talk about the misleading ads and phone calls, robocalls, that have been going out from Tommy Ahlquist's campaign. It is hard enough being an elected official and doing what's right, but when there's blatant lies in advertisements against you, it is very sad, and it really says a lot about the person that puts those out. As a Trump delegate to the National Convention, I attended that convention with Congressman Labrador. While Tommy Ahlquist was back here calling Donald Trump a sexual predator, Congressman Labrador was out campaigning for him in Utah, Arizona, and Florida. If Tommy Ahlquist had it his way, we'd be living under Hillary Clinton as our president.
Thank you, all of you. While disappointing, voters are usually not surprised when politicians exaggerate claims against their opponents so they can gain a political advantage. But Tommy's campaign and his father's PAC have done more than just simply exaggerate. They have lied. Thank you, Heidi, Chet, Sheriff Giddings, and Skip, for showing today that Tommy and his dad's PAC are lying and they're distorting my record. Shame on you, Tommy. If you had any honor, you would ask your father to take down those ads. I am proud of my record, and I will always stand by my record. My reputation, my character, and my integrity are under attack, and I will not stand idly by. When I was a lawyer, I would tell my clients before they went to trial that they should never lie to the jury, not even about the little things, because I would tell them that when the jury finds that you're lying about little things, they know that you're willing to lie about the big, important things. The people of Idaho deserve a governor who will tell them the truth, even when things get hard. Tommy and his campaign are lying to the people of Idaho. If they're willing to lie to get this job, imagine what they will do if he becomes the governor of the state. Tommy has shown over the past few months that he does not have the character or integrity to be your governor. And I'm calling out the media. Do your job. There's a lot of things that he's lying about. Go out and find out those things. Because he's not just lying about me, he's lying about his record and the things that he has done. Shame on you, Tommy. The people of Idaho deserve better. And I want to thank my family for being here. They have stood by me for the last 8 years, and they know who I am, and I'm grateful for them and for everything that they have done. And thank you very much for being here today.